Hello guys, welcome back. It's David here. I am at CEG Dealer School, and this is what we are going to film for all of you who are interested in CEG Dealer School, or those of you who are actual students or who have joined on CEG Dealer School. This is going to be not so much a class, but this is going to be about becoming a dealer, and it's an update for 2022. So most of this is going to play out. It's going to answer all your questions. We're going to have Dennis here kind of interviewing me, so everything is raw and organic, okay? He's going to talk to me just as if one of you might want to talk to me and ask me questions and pick my brain about becoming a dealer here in Vegas or wherever you'd like to become a dealer. And then at the end of this, we're going to make available some content just for those people who have hit the join button and who are part of our student body on YouTube or here. And we're going to go over the tiers of casinos and who's making what kind of money and what the whole path is to being a dealer, you know, starting out and then moving on and progressing through the ranks, so to speak. So we'll have some of that content behind our itty bitty paywall. So if you're interested in becoming a student on YouTube, you just hit that join button, and for $5 a month or $4.95, I think it is, you get access to all of our the longer version of all of our class videos, and of course more information and content every week. So there's that. Okay, thank you for joining, and take it away, Dennis. I fulfill lots of roles. I am an instructor. I do handle recruitment. I'm also a counselor, so I've had a lot of experience in this business. We've developed a lot of relationships with casino managers, and so I provide when a student either comes to the school for the first time or has been a student for a while, we talk about the options that are available to them, both as a break-in and as an experienced dealer. We have a lot of dealers that come back and talk to me and go over sort of, you know, what are their best options, that kind of thing. So I consider myself something of a school counselor. So I have been involved in gaming for 30 years. I started in 1991. I broke in at the Golden Gate. I was a dealer, I would say, for most of my experience in gaming. I've always enjoyed being a dealer more than anything else. Apart from that, I've opened several casinos in new markets. I've also acted as a training manager, a training coach. Here, of course, I provide instruction on craps. I'm the lead instructor for the craps class here. And I've been at all levels of the casino. So I've been a supervisor, a backup shift manager. I've been a recruiter for a casino. I've been a consultant on a casino, this type of thing. So we get this a lot. People ask, you know what, whatever it is that you're doing, you know, okay, I'm thinking about becoming a dealer. Like, why should I become a dealer? So I would say this, being a dealer is a very interesting dynamic. For those of you who have jobs where you have to take it home with you every night, or you have a lot of stress, being a dealer on its own is a stress-free job, believe it or not. Yes, you have surveillance, you have cameras, you have supervisors watching you, but for the most part, you come, you deal, and then you go home. There's no homework, there's nothing you have to worry about for the next morning. You take your apron off and you're off work. So it's kind of a stress-free type of work. People who like to communicate, people who love other people who like to play a game, because after all, that's what we're doing. We're getting paid to play a game, sometimes very well to play a game. So I think for the most part, I tell people if you like people and you like to communicate, you like games, and you like to disconnect. I mean, the one thing about being a dealer, there is a lot of career progression that you can take advantage of, especially if you're younger or even older for the most part. But you could also just sort of settle into being a dealer. A lot of people have been a dealer their whole life. Lauren has loved being a dealer, never wanted to become a supervisor. And the progression is there in money and status in terms of casinos, but you don't have to be in the rat race, so to speak. You can remove yourself from that. There's not this constant pressure to move up or, you know, become a supervisor, this kind of thing. Personal quality, you have to be able to stand erect for a full shift, and that's about it. I mean, realistically, I've actually had people who have had, you know, so on a casino floor, there's typically one or two what they call ADA games, or sit-down games. ADA is just under the Americans with Disabilities Act, and they're games that are provided for people who might be in a wheelchair, who might not otherwise be able to stand or sit in a high chair, that kind of thing. But the casino will only really hire you if you're able to stand. So that's really the only qualification. You have to be able to stand. You have to be able to count on your fingers. The threshold for math, by the way, is very low. A lot of people think you have to be a damn near mathematician. You got to be able to count to 21 or 7. You know, on a crap table, it's colors and units. We teach you the secrets to understanding. Even when you look at a roulette game that's busy, you don't need to know the math. It's colors and units. We teach you all that. So really the bar is low to become a dealer. You can't have any active felonies or warrants. You can't have killed somebody last week, that type of thing. But outside of that, pretty easy to become a dealer. Here in Las Vegas, you have to be 21. To come to the school, you only have to be 18, because otherwise there are quite a few markets now where you only have to be 18 to deal. You still have to be 21 maybe to play, but you only have to be 18 to deal. Here in Vegas, you have to be 21. So for this market, if we were training you for this market, you would need to be 21. But again, it depends. We've had people come down from Washington State. They've come to the school, become a dealer, and then they go back to the state that where they can work at 18. So very, very little. It does matter in terms of if you're looking to work in a party pit and you got to wear a dress. Obviously, there's not a lot of jobs for men out there. And as far as ageism go, we have had people 80 years and older hired. We recently had someone 81 years old got hired. Bucket list, be a dealer. He asked me very specifically, can I become a dealer, David? And I'm like, as long as you can count and stand up. So that's it. You'll run into some casinos who have a pit that's catered to younger players, a party pit, this kind of thing. And so they want younger, or they want to skew to more females, that type. But for the most part, casinos love mature dealers because you're going to be on time. There's going to be less drama, that kind of thing. And when it comes to female male, that's really no longer an issue. Even with craps, didn't like a lot of female crap dealers, but that's no longer a thing. There's a lot of tables that are all female. There's some casinos have all female crap dealers. Fantastic. So becoming a dealer can be kind of a multi-pronged thing. The first thing we'll tell you, and this is not to kind of upsell you, is the more games, the more competitive you are as a dealer. Realistically, there are casinos now that are actively trying to recruit dealers. Demand for dealers is really high. So we've had some casinos come in here and say, if you just know blackjack, we'll take you. Or you just know dice or craps, we'll take you. But the truth is in order to really create a career and create opportunity for yourself, you have to have more than one game or 2 games even. Many casinos require 3 games because it doesn't, breaking in is great. That first job is nice, but the idea is to get to that second job, that more money job, that takes advantage of your skills, your presence, your experience on the game. And to get to that next job, they're going to want to have more than one game to stay competitive. So what we recommend is the 3 core games are really blackjack, roulette, and Bach. And if you can get craps under your wing, that's fantastic. Craps a huge upgrade. A lot of demand for craps dealers. But if I were to tell you, I would recommend blackjack, roulette, and craps, or blackjack, Bach, and craps. If you have your mind set on going to the Strip, baccarat is big. There's a lot of baccarat tables here locally. Not so many baccarat tables unless you go to like Gold Coast, places like this. But long term, you want to have all the games. That's the idea, is to come back to school, get all the games under your belt, single, zero, these kind of games that add to your level of competitiveness. It takes 2 to 4 weeks per class, depending on you. Some people learn at a different rate, or they don't have as much time to plug into the school. So that's a lot of it's going to depend on you. We have the teachers and the tech and all of the resources you need to come to school and train and become a dealer, and the rest is you sort of plugging in. So it can. We've had some dealers get through 2 weeks, get 2 classes done, 2 weeks, just knock it out, and get hired like a week later. Now hiring takes like a week or 2. That's sort of out of control. But then we had a student here for 2 years one time who took their time and only came 1 or 2 days a week. They were not in a hurry to get a job, so they had plenty of time to make that happen. So we recommend 2 to 4 weeks per class, and then dice about 2 months to become an effective dice dealer. We've had a lot of dice dealers get hired quickly because demand for dice dealers is high. But I recommend you staying in school because here is the best environment to learn. When you get to the casino and you got all this pressure and everything that's going on, it can be distracting when you're in a sort of learning mode. So here, learning mode. Classes are very flexible. So we use some tablets and some tech, and our teachers follow your progress on an individualized basis. So when you start here at the school, it's kind of one-on-one at first. So we plug you in. We use this checklist for each of the classes. It's on a tablet. And then we update your progress on the checklist as you go. So if you come in, let's say you missed 3 days, you can come in, we can see where you left off, and boom, then you go practice perfect. So the idea is we teach you a few things, you practice perfect, one of our lead instructors sort of checks you off on that skill set, and then as you put it all together, you're practicing around the game. That's why I have so many tables, and it's helpful to have a lot of tables. We have different people in different phases of learning. So you start at one table, maybe you're practicing your shuffle, your riffle, this kinds of things, then you're practicing card placement, or you're coming out of the rack, and then ultimately you're dealing to other students. So the students, you go round and around a table, practice, practice, perfect, and we have our instructors and supervisor coaches walking up and down the pit just like they might at a casino. So we try to simulate the casino environment as much as possible, so you get sort of the feel of how to, come into a game, how to go on break, these kinds of things. Signing up is easy. You can sign up online. If you're confident CEG is the place to go, you can sign up online. You go to cegdealers.com or cegdealerschool.com, and we normally have links right there to sign up. In fact, on our front page, we typically have some basic specials depending upon the demand for the school. So you can register and prepay online. It takes you right to the thing that you pay, and then when you come into school, that's out of the way. All you have to do is bring any government-issued ID with you. We'll take almost anything as far as the ID, because there's not a lot of requirements, at least for the school. We have people that come from out of country with visas, this type of thing. So all we care about is that you're a breathing, living body, and you're willing and able to train. Now, some of you may want to come into the school and look around. That's perfectly fine. If you have more questions, you want to see the school in person, see what you're getting into, come on down. We'll take you for a tour. We're honest to a fault. We know this is a big deal for many of you, and could be a whole career. So we want you to have all the information so you can be empowered to make the right choice. There's no pressure sales. We show you the tables. We show you what's going on. You can sit and talk to some of the other dealers that are in training. You can interact with some of our trainers that they're available. But ultimately, we want you to be very happy where you go to school. As far as the progression, again, we use that checklist. We progress you, and then once you get to a point where we feel like you have the whole game squared away, so blackjack, you can deal all aspects of blackjack, you've checked off all of the skill sets, then you're going to sign up for an audition. One of our lead instructors, either Becky or Lauren, will audition you, and it simulates an audition that you might have in a real casino, so it's not easy. And we don't make it easy. We don't want to just pat you on the back and say attaboy or attagirl, because we know that when the casino comes knocking, that's not what they're going to do. They're going to be very critical and make sure you have the skills that you need to be a dealer. So it's not easy. It's tough. But if you pass an audition with Lauren or Becky, very good chance you'll pass the audition in a live setting. And in many cases, the casinos come here and audition you, which is even more fantastic, because you don't have to go anywhere. You're already comfortable with the setting, this type of thing. Once you pass the audition, we can give you a certificate that you completed a course and that you are, in fact, a dealer in that area. So blackjack dealer, craps dealer. But here's a thing to keep in mind. And this is what we tell everybody. Yes, you get a certificate. It means a lot to you. You passed a course, you did it, you put in the time, and now you're a blackjack dealer. But when it comes to the casino just cares that you have the skill set. Okay, so a certificate's nice, but the fact that you trained here at CEG and you have the skill set to pass an audition, that's what counts. Yes, we provide job placement assistance. We are very fortunate to have a lot of great working relationships with the casinos. We have quite a few of them actually who sign up to hold their auditions and essentially their job pairs right here at the school. So basically, we have that locked up. I mean, if there's other places that you want to go, we can usually put in a good word. In fact, many cases you could just apply yourself, say that you came from CEG, and voila, in like a flint. But if you need some help, we're here for you. We even have a computer here that you can use to apply online. So if you lack some of those resources at home, we're here to help you. If you have English as a second language, and so as you're going through the application process, if you have some questions, we can help you with that too. So once you find a job, there's a few things you have to do after the fact. So when a casino finally agrees to hire you, they are going to do like this post-screening, which includes a background check and a drug check. So we won't go into how the drug check. So the drug check will matter where you live. Here in Vegas, they don't usually check for pot or marijuana because it's legal here, but in other jurisdictions it might not be. But they do some type of drug test, some type of hair test or saliva, this kind of thing. And then you have a background check. Now, what they'll do is they'll send you a link in an email, and then you'll go through the state site, the state website, here in Vegas anyways. Now, if you're looking for a job in another jurisdiction, it might happen a whole different way. But here in Vegas, or here in Nevada, you get this link, you submit your information, and almost instantly you will get a receipt saying essentially that you're good to go. There might be some outstanding things, but as long as you don't have active warrants or you've been convicted of a crime within the last 10 years. Most of the time it's financial crimes. And by the way, if you have any issues associated with your application, we always tell you be honest, because many times if you're just honest about something, they'll let it go. I mean, as long as you literally haven't murdered someone last week, many cases it's not a thing. Now, financial crimes will hold you back from being a dealer in most cases, if it's been in the last 10 years or so. If you have stuff that's been either quashed or undercover, then it's not a problem. But just be honest. Be honest with us as well, because we might be able to answer those questions for you. If you have some issues, a lot of us have been young, we've made mistakes. So if it's something like that, we can usually help you with it.
This is the part where it says at the end for students only.
Oh. All right, so here's what we're going to do. So we give you kind of a heads up. I want everybody to kind of know what they might be getting into, what they might be interested in, what are the things that are before them to become dealers. And for those of you who are students, we are going to have like a chapter 2 to this interview. We're going to talk about some casinos, some opportunities, the money. I just had a really comprehensive phone call with somebody who asked some very great questions about becoming a dealer, and so I wanted to share that with you, or those of you that are sort of in our student body, and we'll do that next. Thank you guys. Bye.